Hi friends! Over the past few days, I've received a huge amount of books. It's like the publishers knew that this week is my birthday and have just been sending me all sorts of fun children's titles for the fall of this year, 2024. Today, as I'm opening the books here in this pile, I thought I would try something different. I keep hinting that maybe I will teach a little bit about how to become a bookstagram, specifically children's bookstagram for me because I focus on mostly board books, picture books, and then some graphic novels and young readers. But I don't do very much with the middle grade and YA, mostly because they take so much time to read. But I'm going to talk a little bit about how to get into that yourself if you're interested, while I show you some really cool titles that have come out this fall. And I'm going to share just a few books that I opened up 3 days ago. This pile's for what I've received over the past 3 days, but I'd received a few more in the morning 3 days ago that didn't make the pile. I usually just do an unboxing when an unusually large amount comes in a short amount of time. The rest of the time it's kind of a steady flow and I open them as they come. So these few books that have come in during the same time period, I already opened them, so I'm going to show them to you. I received Agent Unicorn from Page Street Kids. And like I said, today I'm going to be talking a little bit more about how to become a children's bookstagram person on Instagram while I'm unboxing, and maybe a little bit less saying, oh, how cute, to every single book. But just know that I pretty much think all picture books are either so cute or so beautiful, which you probably know if you've already watched my other videos. So I'd received that from Page Street Kids, and then this was from Autumn Publishing. Little mushroom board book, and a couple of sticker and activity books that look really neat. So those came, as well as Chronical Kids sent Dot Scribble Go, and that is from the same person who created Press Here and Mix It Up, if you're familiar with those books. Also in the same box from the same creator is Museum in a Book. And I haven't had a chance to look at this very much, but there's a lot of pop-ups in it. It looks really interesting, so I can't wait to dig into that a little bit more. One more that I opened up before starting to save the pile came from Gnome Road Publishing. We've got Trunk Goes Thunk and Alpacas Make Terrible Librarians. So, like I said, I'll just talk as I open up. I might have to do some editing, some voiceover, some speeding up. We'll see how this goes. So I started doing posting books on Instagram almost 5 years ago. I had seen on somebody's blog where they were receiving free books from publishers, and that just seemed like a dream. And I just didn't even know how someone could get free books. It didn't seem real. But I decided, you know what, I'm going to start just posting reviews on Instagram and see where that goes. So when I first started, I posted books from the library and from my own home collection. Okay, I'm going to stop for a second. This is from Simon Kids. Let's see what's inside. Whoa! Okay. This looks like this is mostly early readers. The step-in books, you know, the type of books you get when your kids are just learning to read. So a lot of different themes here. Can go with your kids' favorite shows. And one more. Junior Monster Scouts. And then a couple just slightly longer. The New Batch, Cupcake Diaries, and After School Heroes. So those are from Simon Kids. So my reviews, like I said, my first reviews were of books that I had at my house and also ones that I checked out from the library. Because I've been passionate about picture books for quite some time. When my girls were younger, sorry, that's too loud. Oh, No More Senora Mimi. This is from Candlewick. When my girls were younger, I did the 1,000 books before kindergarten with each of them. I've got 3 girls. And for a while there, I was keeping a spreadsheet. It got a little bit crazy, but I was kind of reviewing things and trying to remember them on my own. And then as my girls got older and even old enough to start aging out of picture books, I realized I still was just completely obsessed and wanted to keep reading. And also I started writing. And that was another motivation for wanting to read and have access to a lot of books was that I've started to begin working on picture book manuscripts of my own. Okay, I'm going to stop for a second. These came from Familias, and we've got Let's Count New York City, and N is for New York City. So I'm excited about that. We went and visited last year and fell completely in love with the Big Apple. So I, after posting my own books, and I can't tell you exactly how long in the library books, I decided to be brave and reach out to my first publisher. We'll stop for a second. We've got Candlewick Press. It looks like that. Looks adorable. Crimson Twill, Witch in the Spotlight. And then we've got a couple awesome board books. I love the combination of photos and cartoons, and that's something I've started getting a little bit into illustration as well, and that's something I would love to play around with. I think that it gives such a whimsical effect. Okay, so my first publisher is what I was saying. I started reach out, and the first thing I did was I found a book I was super excited that was being released, and at the bottom of the publisher's pages, if you scroll all the way to the bottom, it will often be under contact, sometimes under review copies is what they call them. You're looking for the publicity department, there's somebody, usually a specialist, that's over working with people requesting review copies. Stop for a second. Oh, great. Candlewick, Spanish and English books, board books. So there'll be someone there who you can request a copy. So like I said, I just requested one copy of a book that I was really excited about, and I introduced myself, and hi, I'm Jamie Bills. I post about reviews about picture books on Instagram. I gave them my handle. I told them what book I was excited about and asked if there was any way they would consider sending me that title so I could review it on my page. This is also from Candlewick. The Alma books are now being put in board book format. How cool is that? And they got back to me and said sure, and they sent just one book at that beginning, and I reviewed it. And then once it was reviewed, I thanked them. I sent them a link to the review so that they saw that I did it. And when you do post reviews based on the review books that are sent to you, it's always good practice to tag them in the photo and also in the post so that they know that you have done it. This looks like a couple more Alma books. This looks like there's also Spanish involved. So, okay, this big box is from Simon Kids. So I'll open it while I keep talking to you. So yeah, if you tag the publisher, then that's another way that they can see that you have reviewed their book, and also sometimes they will comment on it themselves, or they'll help get more reach to it by posting it in their stories. Every once in a while, the smaller publishers will also post it on their feed, which it gets you extra views on your post. So, all right, let's look and see what we've got from Simon Kids. We've got a board book, Light, looks like a sequel. The first book it's not coming to me right now. Oh, I love Matthew Van Fleet's books. They come with pull tabs that'll make the little images, if you're not familiar, they'll make the little images inside of the pages move. This is Candlewick. Nope, this is not. This is Simon Kids. That's what I already said. I don't know why I said Candlewick. I think because the earlier packages were, look how funny that is. Okay, so yeah, if you're not familiar with Matthew Van Fleet's book, I mean, obviously check this one out, but also he's got some he's made before that we just find delightful. Here's a new book, the new book from Jesse Sima. I was hoping they would send me this one. Jesse Sima is the creator of Not Quite Narwhal, that's been made into a TV series now. So that's Jesse's new book. We've got The River Ocean. And, oh, Mousetronaut, a new one on Mousetronaut. This series has been around for a little while. I want to say this is like the 4th or 5th. Don't quote me on that. It might only be 3rd. But author, what's kind of cool is if you can see there, it's actually by an actual astronaut. So really fun series. Love the artwork. And then Roar for Reading. Okay, two cool things here. Looks like it's promoting reading, which love. But also look at that artwork. It looks like it's kind of a vintage call back to the 90s. Kind of a almost like Bernstein Bears feel to it. That's by Beth Ferry. She wrote The Scarecrow and a lot of other good books. She also came out with Prunella this year, so that's a good year for her. All right, we've got another box here. So once I had posted one review for the one book, I kind of did that for a few different publishers, and then I would request another book from a publisher. Once I had posted about, maybe 3 books, and just as far as timeline goes, just so you know, they want to send out those review copies before the actual publishing date comes. So don't wait until the actual publishing date to be requesting a book from them. But publishers will often send out, it depends on the publisher, but the books are going to come usually at least a month early. I've had some come 2 to 3 months early. But you don't want to ask too early either, or else the review copies are not done, and sometimes you'll kind of get lost in the shuffle. So I would say a month and a half before a review date, if you're trying to time that. That should work pretty well for you if you're just trying for that one review. So once you've done that a few times and you've done as good a job as you can, and the way that you post, with a reel or a post, I don't think it matters so much. Just try to do quality work. If you're taking photos, try to make sure they're clear. The book is featured, obviously. I always try to make sure that you can see the author and illustrator's names in the photo or in the reel so that they can get credit for that. And then you can also tag the author and illustrator. Sometimes they like to see when their books are being highlighted as well to spread the word. Sometimes they'll spread it, or to thank you for posting their books, which is fun to hear from the authors themselves, and they like hearing what you think about their books. But I've said it, I'm a broken record, but tag the publishers as well. But once you get those several high quality posts in, if you're getting a lot of good feedback from your followers, that's also a good thing, obviously. But once you've done several, the next step, and I'm going to pause, you're going to have to wait for the next step because we've got a box to open here. It says from Penguin Random House. Okay. Okay, I love Jarvis. I don't know how big a Jarvis fans you are, but this is from Candlewick. Their books are printed through Penguin Random House, so I never know sometimes when these boxes come, who the actual publisher is going to be. Some of them, like I say, they'll have them printed at the same facility, so they'll come boxed in the same boxes. So this is the 3rd in the Bear and Bird series. We have socks. Oh, yay. Helen Yoon is one of my new favorite creators. She's not been publishing books for very long, but she's been really prolific, and they're usually humorous. Bunnies in the Sleigh, and the first one was Bunnies on a Bus, and when you read these books, they're written so well in rhyme that it's almost like you can sing it while you're reading it. There's like a rhythm, so can't wait to read Bunnies in a Sleigh. The Game of No. That one I actually already reviewed, so I'll have to make a good donation of that to someone else. It is hilarious. It has this fox is saying that he's going to play a game with the reader, and the reader has to say no to all of his questions, and they're funny. Like, do you want $1 million? Type of question, and they're supposed to say no, and if they say yes to something, then you're supposed to start the book over. So what kid is not going to be delighted by that? Think of reading that to a classroom full of kindergartners. It'd be hilarious. Okay, How to Tantrum Like a Champion. Oh, my pile of books here is going to fall over. And Oak, The Littlest Leaf Girl. Oh, I can't wait to dig into that. All right. Yeah, that is going to fall over. One moment while I just make 2 piles here with these books so far. Okay. Whew, we are doing good. We're down to only 4 more boxes, so I guess I better keep giving you those tips about becoming a Bookstagrammer so we can get to the end of the tips by the time we get to the end of the boxes. And because I have a terrible memory, I'm trying to remember where we're at. Oh, I know. Okay, so the next step, once you have those good high quality posts done, if you're starting to get some good engagement, is to request to be put on the publisher's mailing list. Sometimes they'll call it catalog, or sometimes there's forms on their website that you can fill out to apply to be an influencer for the companies. I think that some of the publishers don't ever send, as far as I know, maybe if you're a huge influencer, like they don't, but to most people, they're not going to send review copies. Like Abrams, I want to say is kind of hard. I could be wrong. There's going to be a bigger Instagrammer than me who said that's wrong, but there are some that are a lot harder. Like some are standard looking for influencers, like Random House Kids, but there will be certain follower counts you have to achieve before they'll send you books. I want to say they're like 5,000 for those guys. Some people will care a little bit more about the number of followers than others, but you just want to start either, like I say, applying to be an influencer for those companies. This is after you've been doing this for a while. It does take time. Seems like anything in the publishing world, book world, takes time. So don't expect to get there overnight, but you can eventually, start requesting to be sent, to be added to the list in the catalogs. And what's nice about that, I need to get to the pile or we're never going to get to the end. But what's nice about that is eventually you end up not having to ask for books unless maybe you really like them and you're still not an influencer for a specific company. I rarely have to ask for a book anymore. I mean, obviously, look at this pile. Just getting through the ones that they send me is plenty. It's plenty of work. It's plenty of books. I couldn't ask for more. So yeah, in some ways it almost gets to the point where you're just so very grateful for all the books that are being sent, but you have to start being a little bit more selective in what books you post about, or doing posts with more books in the post. That's why you'll see a lot of the big bookstagrammers, children's bookstagrammers, with posts featuring a lot of books. Sometimes that's because they want to give you an extensive overview on a subject, but sometimes it's that they have a lot of books that they would like to show for these publishers, because we do care about the publishers a lot, but there is a limited number of days. That's what it comes down to. So I try to balance. I try to make sure that I'm not getting more books than I can post. This one, if I got this much every week, I definitely could not keep up. So yeah, I would have to reach out to some of the bigger publishers that are sending me a lot of books and ask them to back off, or take some publishers off the list. But especially since I try personally, you've got to look at your schedule. I try to balance keeping Instagram and book reviewing to kind of a manageable amount of time daily, so that I protect my writing and drawing time for my own creations. And to be honest, for me personally, I don't get paid for doing reviews. For a while, I was getting paid by Instagram for Instagram Reels. The Reels pay, they cut back on the program. I was on the lower end of those getting paid, and I got cut out. So I kind of stopped doing Reels. Not that I don't love them, and I will still do them sometimes, but they take me a lot more time than just doing static posts where I can batch process through the photos. And maybe we can go over that another time, but I've been able to develop a process where I'm not spending hours and hours every single day, because it's just not what I want to be doing, especially for free all the time, when I have other goals that I'm trying to accomplish. But okay, we're gonna do this box and then I'll keep rambling. Quantum. Okay, that is so fun. I saw someone else post about this and I was hoping to be sent it. We are with Candlewick again. They are so sweet to me. They send me so many books. Not far from here. And P.S., I mean, their books, if you're not completely familiar with them, they are such high quality. They put a lot of effort and work into making sure that the books are, the texts and the illustrations go well together, and a good pairing, high quality illustrations. I'm just I can almost tell when I'm holding a Candlewick book before I even look at the spine. So, The Night Whale, Lonely Bird's Dream, sucker for birds. It's Time to Hush and Say Goodnight. Big Gorilla, a book about opposites. And you see a little guy there as well. The Midnight Panther. Winter Light. Oh, it's beautiful. I know that. Mr. Leprechaun's Mystery Soup. Mr. Santa by Jarvis. I already told you I love Jarvis's work. And 101 Dogs, an illustrated compendium of canines. I'm not sure what compendium means, but it's probably something collection. I don't know, you could tell me if you could talk back to me. So, okay, 3 more boxes. My feet are going to sleep. I'm sitting on them. I've been going slow. All right. I think I was just talking about trying to balance life and Instagram. And if you're just starting out with reviewing books, that's not something you're going to have to worry about too much. I guess if I were to give just another tip about, okay, Pablo Gets the Grumps. I love Pablo. Cute. And My First Guide to Space. There have been some great space books put out lately. Okay, 2 more boxes. So when you are trying to build the people that your followers, some good people to get in contact with would be other bookstagrammers like me. When people follow me and consistently comment on my posts, especially if I know that they are posting about books themselves, I comment back on theirs and typically will follow them back as well. There's just a kind of a good community. It's not like an unwritten rule that you have to do that, but there's a good-sized group of us children's bookstagrammers who will, and cool people. Mostly ladies, but there's also some awesome guys there, and people that you want to get to know. And they're just as passionate as you are about children's books and promoting literacy and sharing new things. They've got enthusiasm and a love of picture books and of kids' books. So, all right, we're going to focus on just finishing up these boxes. I think we're going to keep any of this other talk we've been doing to a minimum so I can finish up because this is getting to be a very long video. All right, so Lovekins. I like that creator. Steve, Maggie, and Maggie's Birthday Surprise. The Magic Kalaloo. I am sorry if I'm saying that wrong. Maybe I've been hoping for this. I had a little FOMO. I've seen it around on Instagram and wondered if I was going to get it, as well as this new Princess in Black. I'll take all the Princess in Blacks. Chronicles of a Lizard Nobody. Okay, that looks amazing. And Peace on Earth. How pretty is that cover? Last box, and this one is Hatchet. So we are not looking at Candlewick anymore. I'm not sure who this will be. Let's take a look. Last book box. Wind is a Dance. It looks like we have Kids Can Press. A few more down here. We've got Steve, A Pretty Exceptional Horse. Puffin and Penguin. Mad at Dad. Looks like my girls sometimes. And last but not least, The Dragon Slayer. I am going to count these piles up and I'll put it in the heading or the comments below. If you have questions about all of the rambling about becoming a children's bookstagrammer that I did while opening these boxes, put it in the comments below. I'm not great at always checking YouTube, but I will try. And I hope you get a chance to check these books out at the library or at your local bookstore. And thank you for hanging on to the end.